I'm Betsy Wilburn.
And I'm Celestial Allen.
And we are co-directors for Embrace Ministry at Signal Mountain Presbyterian Church. Embrace Ministry began to provide several things for families: support, community, respite, and education. At the heart of Embrace Ministry is really a hope that as a church family, we would follow Jesus' calling in welcoming all people, regardless of need, into our church and embrace them into church life.
Since 2009, we have served over 40 families, including over 90 children. And those families are coming to us from 10 different zip codes. They aren't just families from Signal Mountain Pres. We want to serve these families with children with special needs, but we are also serving families who have answered the call to foster and adopt. We want to provide support for families, whether they have those needs for 2 weeks or if they're looking at a lifetime of caring for their child.
So through Embrace Ministry, this primarily happens through several different programs: Embrace Support, Night Owls, Capernaum, which is a part of Young Life, and our Adoption Foster Care Ministry, which includes the Sparrow's Nest Foster Closet.
We were at the first Night Owls 10 years ago, and that really drew us into the church. Our oldest son has autism.
Night Owls has been a great program for our family. I know Frances, our daughter, just absolutely loved it.
And that was a wonderful program for him as he grew up, and for his younger sisters as well, to allow us to have a date night.
Night Owls, which actually stands for A Night Out with Loving Sitters, is a respite program in which our church provides an opportunity for families with children with special needs to go out on a date once a month.
Yeah, what could be better than spending an evening with your bride? 3 or 4 hours, while the volunteers at Night Owls allow children to have a lot of fun through all kinds of games and activities. It's just wonderful, and it helps nurture families.
Jack is my son, and he is now 12. And just that feeling of hope that there is someone out there, that there are people out there who can help you, just lifts a huge burden off your shoulders.
And they look forward to it more than he did almost. They loved it.
The girls loved it as much, if not more, than James. They kept calling it Owl Party. We've been using the Embrace Room, Sensory Room, since he was in elementary school, for Sunday school and for church.
The ministry helps a lot of people who feel like there's no help out there for them. The respite, it's a time of renewal for the caregivers of this child. You literally go nonstop from the time you get up till the time you go to bed. And if you have a child with autism or other disorders as well, you may not stop when you go to bed because that child may be up at night. That time of renewal that you get when you get that respite time through Night Owls, its worth is immeasurable. It allows you to be a better caregiver, a better parent. It allows you to do for that child the things that he or she needs.
And our church grows as well. This is an opportunity for families who have not been coming to church to feel included. And with that, our church is growing in faith and in community.
And the fact that the people who are working with him at Night Owls are able to successfully work with him and allow him to be successful speaks volume for just how good the program is.
Capernaum is a part of the Young Life ministry where Young Life realized that there were students in the high school that weren't being served well. At our clubs and camps, we can adapt things so students with all ability levels can come and have fun and build meaningful relationships. And while they're doing all of these things, they're getting to learn about who Jesus is.
Now that he's aged out of Night Owls, he's old enough to go to Capernaum, and he loves Capernaum. He wants to go to club, and he loves it. As well as James with autism, we have 2 daughters who are adopted, and we have a heart for adoption and foster care, and so we help with the foster closet.
Most people assume that the Embrace Ministry is dealing specifically with special needs children. However, there is an arm that addresses needs for adoption and foster care. We have 3 children, my husband Dan and I. Our oldest, Elle, is 21, Will is 19, and Sarah is 14. And they are all adopted. They're not biologically related, but they were adopted from birth. We are not all called to adopt, but we are all called to support, encourage, and love one another. And the ways that the church family could do that to an adoptive family would be through financial means or through the gift of time by providing resources so that the family can have time to bond with one another and love and care for each other.
The Embraced Ministries Foster and Adoption Closet has been very beneficial to our family. It has everything that you would need for a newborn there, and we are just allowed to go pick what we need. A lot of times when we find out when we're getting a baby, we don't have a lot of time between when we find out and we actually have the placement. So we're able just to go over there and get what we need. And it's also a nice thing to have. We can also outfit with the adoptive family or the birth family with the things that they might need for a newborn baby.
As a family, we all participate in caring for those infants. That's feeding, holding, bathing, cleaning. It's also been great for our family to see what the church community can do when we come together, and either through prayer or even coming to help hold the baby or take care of the baby.
So when Francis was born, I recognized immediately, and I asked the doctor if she had Down syndrome. And the most beautiful thing the doctor said was, "You have a beautiful daughter." And I'll always remember that because he used daughter language first as opposed to a disability or a syndrome. And we've embraced that her whole life. And our friends and our family, we want them to treat her like a young girl, a young lady, and not focus so much on the disability. They talk about kids having special needs, but really what their needs are is they need to be loved, they need a family, they need friends, they need a church, they need people around them that are going to support them through all of these milestones. And that's not really a special need. We all need that.
I mean, try to reach out to people, even if you're uncomfortable, and I think it'll mean a lot to us.
I think something else I would hope that the church family would know about a child with special needs is that they still have the hope and the desire to interact and be part of a group. They just may not necessarily have the right social skills or cognitive skills or physical skills to do it. We all have different strengths and weaknesses, but we're all level at the cross that they want to be there and they just want to be part of it. So just remember that they're coming out of their comfort zone to be part of the group, so try and include them.
There's this picture at the end of the Bible of where history is moving, of what God is building in His church. It's a picture of a crowd, this huge crowd, so big that nobody can count it. It's a crowd made up of every tribe and tongue and nation and kind, and they all sing the same song. Salvation belongs to our God and to the Lamb, Jesus. That's a picture of what God is building His church to be, because the church is built on His grace and it's built on the finished work of Jesus. It's the kind of community where everybody of every kind, of every ability is made to fit and made to belong. I'm not sure there's any place in our church where we see that gospel preached to us as clearly as we see it in the ministry of Embrace. This ministry is saying to people about whom society says, we're not sure you fit, we're not sure you belong. You do belong, and you are made to fit, and not just fit, but contribute to this family that God is building among us. So thank you, Embrace Ministry, for what you've been doing over the last 10 years. Thank you for preaching the gospel to us.